Hi, and welcome to Community, the TV show. I'm Lucy Rubley, in for Annette Sherman today. On our show today, we will discover why laughter is, in fact, the best medicine. We won't learn this from any kind of a medical doctor, but we will learn this from a humor therapist. When I was preparing for today's program, I came across a saying, "The gift of laughter is the gift of healing." We know that the field of medicine has long recognized the importance of humor, as they have published hundreds of articles on that very subject, stating that laughter is a mechanism we all have. It is part of our human vocabulary. Laughter decreases stress hormones, which then improves our resistance to disease. It also triggers the release of endorphins, which are the natural chemical in our body that we produce when we're happy. And it's also said to temporarily relieve pain. Does this sound almost too good to be true? Our guest today can help us address these studies, and we will ask him if laughter really does have this power to energize us and possibly cure us. His name is Aaron Watkins, and he is the proud recipient of the Raoul Wallenberg Humanitarian Award for his work at the Big Apple Circus and Paul Newman's Hole in the Wall camp. He was the resident clown there. He has captured the hearts and minds of children and adults alike as Waterhead the Clown with the Ringling Brothers Circus, and he currently plays Joe King with the Circus Arts Conservatory here in Sarasota. Let me introduce Aaron Watkins, aka Joe King, our guest today. Aaron.
Oh, that's me.
It's wonderful to have you here.
It's wonderful to have me here too.
I know you're not an early person.
Yeah.
We got you up a little early to bring you into the studio.
Oh, I get up any time for you, Lucy.
Wide awake here.
Yep.
Ready to roll.
Absolutely. Oh, before we go any farther though,
Yeah.
your hair got a little bit messed up this morning before we started here. I can take care of it right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm a professional. Don't worry about a thing.
Okay.
Oh, much better.
Oh.
Do you ever tease your hair?
No.
Well, let me tease it just a little bit
All
for
right.
you this morning.
Give me a little.
Yeah. Oh, you look beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you, Aaron. I mean, Joe.
Joe.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that.
Joking, just joking.
Just joking. Okay, I get it. Now, let me start with the fact that you have received this huge, wonderful award, the Raoul Wallenberg Humanitarian Award.
Yes.
How'd that come about?
Well, all of the members of the Big Apple Circus Clown Care Unit were recipients. We were one of the pioneer programs to go into hospitals, pediatrics units primarily, and bring laughter and joy to the kids at the hospital. It started off just with one person, Michael Christensen from the Big Apple Circus. He went in to do a one-day program. And from that day program at one hospital, it grew into hundreds and hundreds of days over the years in dozens of cities across the country. And that really, it sparked a whole new movement. From the hospitals, we eventually teamed up with Paul Newman for his Hole in the Wall gang camps. And those camps, if you're not familiar with them, they still exist today. They provide a summer camp experience for kids with serious illnesses who really can't attend a summer camp. Okay. Paul wanted these kids to have a real experience, not to just go for a day and be hooked up to all these machines. Mm-hmm. He bought a place in Connecticut where kids could swim, they could fish, they could do arts and crafts, and there was a hospital built right into the camp. So that the children who needed daily transfusions or dialysis could go and do everything a normal camp kid would, but even have their medical needs taken care of.
Outstanding.
It was
That wonderful. And so you were a resident clown there. What does that mean?
Yes. Well, it was a great experience because the resident clowns had the freedom to roam anywhere they wanted to. We would go fishing one day. We would go into the arts and crafts and tie-dye facilities the next day, and we would just bring a little something strange to the places. We also made several movies. Like every session, Paul Newman would show up and he would be in a movie with the kids, who had no idea who he was really.
Yeah.
He was just a nice guy who came and helped them out.
We need people like that.
We do.
That's phenomenal.
He was an incredible humanitarian.
Absolutely. Now, how did this change the direction of your life?
It changed it quite a bit, actually. I first got into clowning quite by accident. I was at Ohio University, and one spring I looked at my transcript and saw that I could graduate a whole year earlier if I took summer school. I wasn't crazy about taking summer school. It was my last summer to,
Party.
be free. Yeah, exactly. But I thought, well, okay, I'll save a lot of money. I'll get out into the world a lot faster. So I was going through the summer school catalog, and I didn't want to take anything difficult. But
Sure.
A's nothing, the B's nothing, the C. Oh, the C's. I could take calculus all summer. No. I went a little farther. Chemistry. That's an easy summer course. No. I went a little bit farther and found circus and clowning classes. There was a guy from New York University coming to be a guest teacher at Ohio University. His name was John Towson, and he wrote the definitive history book on clowning. So he came in, he taught, I believe it was 4 classes that summer, which was coincidentally just the number of classes I needed to graduate.
Oh, fun.
I took those and just absolutely fell in love with it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So never before that, when you were a kid and you were watching Bozo the Clown or any of the clown, you never said, geez, I'm going to grow up and be a clown.
I never really thought that. I wasn't really exposed to the circus. We went to the Shrine Circus every year, but we'd never seen Ringling Brothers.
Okay.
And Barnum and Bailey, the greatest show on earth. And I always enjoyed it, but I picked up magic when I was a teenager. So that was sort of a little gateway into clowning.
Right.
But I'd never really thought about clowning until taking those classes.
Because I often think of a clown and clowning around as somebody who can make people laugh, and it comes very naturally. You hear about the people who were the class clown, and
Right.
Was that you?
I was never really the class clown. I was a little more shy and reserved.
Really?
So clowning for me was a way of really breaking out and expressing myself.
So did you find that difficult when you went in? Was it like intimidating for you or natural?
No, it was natural. I think it's natural with everybody if they can just break through that shell a little bit.
Sure.
There's an old saying that has since been disproved, but a child laughs about 400 times a day, and an adult laughs about a dozen times a day.
Yeah.
And it's really not true, but the essence of it is true.
Right.
You look at kids, they're laughing, they're playing,
Sure.
and then as we get older and have to conform to society more and more,
Right.
that sense of humor sometimes can get pushed to the back.
Sure. Well, the other interesting thing, Aaron, I read was that laughter is genetic. Did you know laughter?
I never heard that before.
They did studies with twins and the giggling, and it makes me think about my family.
You're
and
a twin,
growing,
aren't you?
I'm a twin.
That's what I thought.
But everybody in my family laughed. I mean, from my oldest brother on down, and so I find that very interesting that it's genetic. How about you? Were you the only clown in the family?
My father told jokes a lot. My father was a traveling beer salesman, and a big part of his job was to go into bars and tell jokes and buy people his brand of beer.
Interesting.
And so he would come home with his jokes. He couldn't tell all of them to the kids,
Oh,
I'm
sure. Right.
But yeah, he was a real fun-loving guy.
Okay.
My parents actually both met doing community theater, so I think there was some
Absolutely.
genetics there.
Sure. Well, when you mentioned that your father was in beer salesman, my father was also. And why I find that interesting is because when you're traveling like that, as you say, and you're selling, and really we're always selling, whether
Right.
we're a salesperson or a beer salesman, we're always trying to hype something and be that person that other people want to speak with and be around.
Yeah.
So you have children?
I do have children. I have two girls, Lila and Sophie.
And have they followed in your footsteps?
Well, they have followed in my footsteps into the circus, but not into clowning.
Okay.
They both, actually, we should go back a little bit. My wife and I actually met when I was working for Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus.
All right, here in Sarasota.
It was down in Nokomis at the
Okay,
time, but yeah,
okay.
close enough.
Sure.
And she was a buyer on the road, and I was a clown. In our offices, we shared a kitchen.
Oh
So
my God.
that's how we met.
Oh, wow.
So now we're sort of first generation circus people. Both my daughters, as I mentioned, Lila and Sophie, joined up with the Sailor Circus.
Okay.
And they went more into acrobatics and aerial acts and things like that.
Okay.
But they're carrying on the tradition.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, we mentioned that you were a graduate of Ohio University in theater. But then I read in your resume that you went on to get another degree in a Bachelor of Fun Arts degree and a Practitioner of Uselessness degree. Can you explain
Oh, it
those?
was a totally uselessness degree. That's
Okay,
more
totally.
impressive. Yes,
All right, all right.
Well, yeah, the Bachelor of Fun Arts was a degree that was given by Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey at their famed Clown College.
Okay.
Clown College was a boot camp.
Really?
Yeah. Now, Clown College, when a man named Irvin Feld bought Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus in the '60s, the average age of the clowns was about 59 years old. And I think you might be almost 59.
No, far, yeah.
As you know, as you get older, it's easy to fall down. Those pratfalls are
Yes.
pretty simple. It's the getting up that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
little bit harder.
Right.
But Mr. Feld realized, okay, we've got all these people who are aging out of really performing, and so
Sure.
he needed to bump up the roles of clowns. And in
Okay.
those days, there weren't really amateur clowns. There were professionals like Bozo, there were a few local professionals, but clowning is not nearly, or was not nearly, the hobby that it is today. So he said, we've got to do something to get these clowns, we've got to train them, and so he came up with the idea of Clown College.
Wow.
And so Clown College was a 12-week boot camp.
Oh my gosh.
And we learned everything from clown skills, gag writing, to circus skills as well. There was a famous clown named David Larible from Italy.
Okay.
And he always said, a good clown has two suitcases, and you want to have balanced suitcases. In one suitcase is your character, and the other suitcase are your skills.
Okay.
And you don't want to be all character and no skills. You don't want to be all skills and no character. So they taught everything at Clown College.
Wow. See, some was classroom and other was hands-on, makeup.
Everything was
Okay.
hands-on. Yeah, we started at 8 o'clock in the morning with a real physical warm-up, both calisthenics, stretching, yoga, things like that. And then we would all go into a classroom to do makeup.
Oh my
And
gosh.
every day we put a different makeup on.
Okay.
We were encouraged to either draw or take pictures of ourselves as we went through the makeup exercises. And finally, you got something that really worked for your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, we have some pictures. Can we put some of those pictures up of your early days
The
clowning
earliest days of
around?
clowning. Oh, I'm
clowning.
embarrassed.
Here we have. Can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about
This,
this?
this was actually the first day I ever clowned. It was in Athens, Ohio. I am the guy on the right, probably about 40 pounds thinner in those days.
Y'all look good.
But it was, I got a call just before I started those classes. It was a Friday night, and it was late. It was probably about 11 o'clock, and I was on my way out to the library. I'm pretty sure that's where I was
for your
headed.
chemistry.
Yeah,
Right.
But the guy on the other end said, "Oh, I heard you're a clown." And I thought it was a friend of mine playing a trick. And he said, no. He said, I'm a barbershop owner, and we've got a sidewalk sale coming up, and we need clowns to get the people to come into the barbershop. So a buddy of mine, Scott McPherson, who was the other person in that picture, who later went on to write for the Bozo Show. That was our first day of clowning.
Okay.
The first day, the very first second I performed as a clown, I loved it.
Oh.
I was in acting school, but I thought it was more than acting. It was, you could add more of your own personality.
Sure.
There was more interaction with the audience. So I just fell in love with it right from that second. It changed
Okay.
my life.
Awesome. I think we have more pictures. This is,
That's an early version of my clown. After school, I moved to New York, and I hooked up with John Towson and his wife, and we produced a clown theater festival. This was Skippy the Magic Clown.
Awesome.
And I found out that, actors in New York were about a dime a dozen. Clowns, though, were about 12 cents a dozen.
Oh.
So while my friends were proofreading and being waiters and waitresses to
Yeah.
make a living, I could actually make a living as a clown. So that was nice.
and
This is an incarnation of Waterhead the Clown.
okay.
This was the clown that I played on Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus.
That's Waterhead. Okay.
Yep, it was designed by Howard Kaplan, who is now, he's been the costume designer at the opera, the Sarasota Opera, for more than 20 years now.
Fabulous.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and I think we have one more.
Oh,
Or two more.
this is the famous Clown Alley in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
In Little Rock, Arkansas, there was not enough room for the clowns to get dressed in the building, and there was no air conditioning. It was an older building, and so they actually put us into the horse stalls.
Wow.
So each clown had his or her own horse
Oh my
stall to put their
God.
makeup on.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to shower, which you probably did,
Sure.
you just go out and put the hose over yourself.
Oh my Lord. Oh. And then we've got this last one from the early days.
Yeah, that's a later incarnation of my clown. After I moved to Sarasota, there's a big difference between circus clowning and performing close up.
Okay.
If you looked at the Waterhead picture, a lot of really heavy makeup, big costume. But when you're performing close up, you can scare kids or adults too.
Okay.
So you want to scale back on everything, and that's a little more sophisticated, a scaled back version.
Okay, I gotcha. Now, was the writing the training manual, being one of the people that wrote the training manual, was that a jump-off point for you? Huge changing?
Well, when I moved to New York, as I mentioned, I had hoped to have an acting career, and I didn't want to be a waiter, and so I had an opportunity to audition for the Big Apple Circus's Clown Care Unit. And it was just
Okay.
starting up at that point.
Okay.
And so we went into hospitals, into pediatrics wards, and we would do phony operations on kids. And,
Okay.
any kind of fun that we could bring to both the patients as well as the staff and the caregivers. That was a really important piece.
Right.
And we would go on a regular basis, not just at Christmas time or over a particular
Sure.
holiday. We
Sure.
were there throughout the year to really to lighten the atmosphere of
Sure.
the whole place. And
In fact, I think we have some photos from your medical
oh, okay.
clowning around. If we
Let's
can
take-
put those up.
Yeah, these are pretty current pictures here. Right now I work for the Circus Arts Conservatory, and I'm the program manager of the Circus Arts in Healthcare program. And we go into communities, both assisted living and skilled nursing communities, just to bring some joy to places there that might not have that much joy.
Okay.
People who can't get out necessarily, we go to them.
And there's Joe King dancing
There's
away.
Joe King, we're getting a lady up to dance.
You're having fun.
It's a wonderful, wonderful job and a great program.
So rewarding.
It is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, and I'm here with what we call the Sailor Circus Ensemble.
Okay.
These are Sailor Circus kids, members of the oldest youth circus in the country.
Oh, my.
More than 70 years old now.
Wow.
These particular kids weren't more than 70
Right,
years old, but
okay.
they graduate
They sure
from the
look good,
program.
right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
so we go in. A lot of people in these communities don't get a chance to see kids. Their grandchildren may live hundreds of miles away.
Sure.
And so they enjoy the clowns when we go in with our professionals, but I think they enjoy the show even more when we go in with kids,
Right.
an intergenerational performance.
Well, it seems to me that the clowning for adults in the healthcare industry is something that has become huge.
Yes.
I mean, we wouldn't find that 30 years ago necessarily,
No.
but now the healthcare and the assisted living and memory care. Can you tell us more about that, please?
Sure. Well, as the population ages, we have more and more people who are living longer and longer lives, and their health is not necessarily as good as it once was. Memory care units are the fastest growing portion of the healthcare industry, and it's a sad thing, but we go in not only to entertain, and we're not medically trained therapists.
Right.
We're loosely using the term therapy.
Right.
The programs that we do are therapeutic in nature.
Sure.
So we don't just go and do a ha-ha show. We'll try to elicit memories.
Okay.
One of the shows that we do, we go in and we use the calendar to say, like yesterday was Bittersweet Chocolate Day, National Bittersweet Chocolate Day. So we take some bittersweet chocolate and we have the residents smell the chocolate, taste it, just to see what kind of memories that evokes.
Okay.
It was also National Fruitcake Tossing Day the day before.
Okay.
So, we have them toss the fruitcake to us, see if we can go distance. So it's physical activity, it's mental activity, and it's all done in the spirit of fun. And actually, I have a prescription here. I dropped my prescription bottle. I'm not sure if I can reach it with my microphone here. I'll try not to wreck your set.
Okay.
Whoa, okay, here we go. Whoa.
Oh, boy.
Now, this is the only prescription I'm actually legally allowed to fulfill.
Okay.
This is, and I'll give it to you, this is a Magnus rubicrates proboscis prescription.
Okay.
This could, and now, warning, it may cause ludicrous antics, buffoonery, and enlargement of your funny bone.
Oh, dear.
Now, when you're taking this, please avoid prolonged exposure to grumpiness, okay? And while using this medication, do not drive unless your car contains at least 24 occupants.
Okay.
All right. Now, sometimes it's a large pill to swallow, but you can take it other ways if you like. And that's for you, Lucy.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, you're a natural.
I'm a natural. Oh, my. Too fun. I will keep that.
Okay.
Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about the conservatory now.
Sure.
Okay.
The Circus Arts Conservatory started off as Circus Sarasota,
Okay.
It was founded by Dolly Jacobs and Pedro Reyes, who were international class circus artists. Dolly's father, Lou Jacobs, was a very famous circus clown, a great citizen of Sarasota. When they came off the road, they looked around at Sarasota, which we're known, as you know, as the circus capital of the world. A lot of that circus had kind of dissipated, gone away, and they wanted to really revitalize and bring circus back to Sarasota. So they started Circus Sarasota. 1997, I believe, is when it all started up. They ran an international one-ring big top show for many years. And then they had the opportunity to take over the management of the Sailor Circus, which, as we talked about, was the oldest youth circus in the country.
Right.
So we created this large umbrella organization to bring all kinds of circus activities back to Sarasota. And those two shows, Circus Sarasota and the Sailor Circus, they form the basis of the company.
Okay.
But we also have outreach programs because they really wanted to give back.
Right.
The profits that Circus Sarasota makes, and it is a not-for-profit organization, so we don't actually make profits.
Right.
But the money that we make and generate goes to community outreach. Programs like mine, the Circus Arts and Healthcare. We have another program run by Karen Bell, who's been a longtime clown here in Sarasota.
Okay.
She takes care of our educational outreach programs.
Okay.
And they go into the schools teaching STEM activities, science, technology, engineering, and math through the circus arts.
Wow.
And now our latest and greatest program, we have the very first circus magnet program in Sarasota County Schools. It's a program at Sarasota High School, and it's very much like the Booker Performing Arts program, where kids take classes in the morning, academic classes, and in the afternoons they come over to the Sailor Circus Arena here on Bay Vista, right close to your studio.
Right.
And they spend the entire afternoon learning circus skills.
Cool.
And
Very
life
cool.
skills.
Very, very cool. In fact, we have some events coming up at the conservatory that we want to talk about.
Sure, yeah.
You want to mention, we've got those.
Yeah, our next event coming up is Circus Sarasota itself.
Okay.
It runs the month of February. Under the big top over at UTC.
Okay.
It's impossible to miss.
Okay.
In March, we have a show called Cirque which incorporates live choral music, a live symphony orchestra, and circus acts. It's a really beautiful, beautiful show. And it shows really how much of an art form circus is, just as much as opera or ballet or
Okay.
symphony.
Wonderful.
And then our last show coming up for the spring is the Sailor Circus coming up in April.
Perfect. Beautiful. And if you wanted to get a hold of tickets, would we go to circusarts.org?
Circusarts.org. We
Okay.
just upgraded our system. You can actually purchase your tickets online.
Oh, okay. And if you're interested, you can also call 941-355-9335 to order your tickets, to volunteer, to donate money. Circus Arts of Sarasota.
And tell them Joe King sent you.
Tell them Joe King sent you.
Just joking.
Just
Oh!
joking. Before we run out of time, just briefly, what do you think about the portrayal of this pop culture and the angry, the mean clown, the scary clown?
It's a sad phenomenon. It comes and goes in cycles.
Okay.
But clowns really are every man, every woman. You know, it's something good and something that brings joy to people.
Okay. And what is your most memorable clown moment in the last minute that we have?
Boy, the last minute. I would say the most meaningful clown moment that happened to me, I was performing in a hospital when I was with the clown care unit, and we would always pass a room where a young girl was in a coma. So we never would stop there. But one day the father called us in. We weren't sure, we didn't know what to do, but he had us just play some music for his daughter, who may or may not have heard what we were doing, but it really put him at ease. And that was a really moving experience for us.
Oh, that's fabulous. All of the work that is done through the Circus Arts of Sarasota. If you're interested, you can get a hold of them, 941-355-9335. And Aaron Watkins, Joe King, thank you so much for being with us today on the show.
Thank you, Lucy.
Have a nice day.
The time really flew. We bid you adieu from community. If you want to know why we love it here, so check out Community. Well, it's a who's who, a what's, when, and where show. It's a movie